Now, can we truly love God if we don't truly respect one another and love one another and choose one another every day as a child of God? Is it true that I love? You know, St. Paul says, if I don't have charity, I am nothing. And I read for you this chapter in the first epistle of St. John, chapter 4, that the Holy Father, Pope Benedict, has taken in his encyclical to explain about a true love. No one has ever seen God. If we love one another, God abides in us, and his love is perfected in us. What that means, if we don't love one another, God is not in us. Whoever confesses that Jesus is the Son of God, God abides in him and he in God. You see, that's the second aspect. To believe in Jesus, to believe that he is God, the Son of God, and at the same time to love one another. There is no fear in love. Perfect love casts out fear. And then the last thing about fraternal love in the first epistle of St. John, he said, let us therefore love because God first loved us. If anyone says, I love God, and hates his brother, he is a liar. Now, you know what happened at the Last Supper? Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. John, instead of reporting about the institution of the Eucharist, which has been done by the three other evangelists, instead he preferred, and he's the only one who has done that, to mention the Last Supper. And at the Last Supper, we see something extraordinary. Jesus, during the meal, taking the place of a slave. And all the disciples are completely stunned. And Peter, as we know the reaction of Peter. But let's go to Judas. Judas is sitting there. And sitting or laying, I don't know how he was exactly, but Jesus comes to Judas. What do you think has been in the heart of Judas? Jesus making that gesture of love, tenderly taking the feet of Judas and pouring the water. Oh, with what love, with what eyes Jesus has looked into the eyes of Judas, like to give him a last chance. Judas, I love you. I love you as my priest, as my disciples. I'm sure the gaze of Jesus carried so much charity and mercy toward Judas, who could have turned toward Christ, who could have stopped betraying him. But the heart of Judas and his mind were completely switched off. He wanted the money. He loved money more than God. He loved money so much. And after Jesus gave him the morsel of bread as a sign of friendship, as it was the Oriental custom out there, Judas couldn't take it anymore, probably didn't look at Jesus in the eyes. Neither when Jesus washed his feet, nor when Jesus gave him the morsel of bread. And the gospel says, he left. It was night. Oh yes, it was night in the heart of Judas. And strangely, amazingly enough, Jesus, at that very moment, immediately after Judas left, instead of being filled with depression, sorrow, and pain, you know what he said? Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself and will glorify him at once. Now, what does it mean? At the moment Jesus is the most crushed, his heart is sadness. At the same time he said, now the Son of Man is glorified. Jesus reveals to us the victory of his heart. The charity of Christ has been so infinite, so great, that He used the betrayal of Judas in order to manifest his tremendous love, that his divine love is victorious. And at the cross, you remember, he said, Father, forgive them, they don't know what they are doing. Oh, how much we want to imitate Jesus in those two attitudes at the cross and before Judas. Because in our life, we meet a lot of people we don't like, we don't love, who have betrayed us, who have, we have grudges against that. And now I finish by this little story that we can take home to reflect upon it. It's the story of Saint Maximien Kolbe, who will implement in an amazing way that love of Christ, that charity of Christ. Saint Maximien Kolbe, on the 14th day of his agony in the bunker of Auschwitz, the starvation bunker, all were dead around him, all his companions. And he was the only survivor. And the German officer, the Nazi officer, came into the bunker to see whether there was still someone alive there. He entered, he saw Maximien Kolbe agonizing, naked and miserable. And Maximien Kolbe looked at him in the eyes with so much love, the eyes of Christ, the love of Christ. And the German officer so violently said, "Get your eyes out of my sight, swine of Polish." Because, like Judas, the German officer saw something he had never seen. He couldn't take it. And immediately after, the doctor shot Saint Maximien Kolbe to death. My friends, as we go home to our family, tomorrow we go back to work, will we take that love and merciful gaze of our Lord Jesus into wherever Jesus wants us to carry that love? That's up to us, to be witnesses of that loving mercy of Christ in actions, in front of everyone, beyond our feeling. God bless you all.